I kick off, I thought I might do a little disclaimer, a little bit of foreplay, and by foreplay I just mean so what I'm going to say is that we all live on this giant ball of rock that is hurtling through space and time, and the parameters of that are almost incomprehensible. And all life on this ball of rock is an accident. And where you were born, that's an accidental result of a shit ton of other accidents. So none of it really matters. Right, with that, I'll get into it. So, last time I was here, I said I was going to do the Holocaust. But I couldn't actually do the Holocaust because I'd left my stuff in the car. And my uniform was at the dry cleaners following a messy weekend in Stuttgart with some like-minded friends. So this time, I thought I might do porn, but not actually do porn, because I left my stuff in the car, and my outfit is at the dry cleaners following a messy weekend in Stuttgart with some like-minded friends. Now the fact that I can put the same crap punchline on those two disparate and awful subjects should give you some sort of inkling of the horrific rabbit hole that is my life that we're going to be staring down for the next 10 minutes. Now, I've been told that I have a dark sense of humour, and a dark sense of humour is like food. Not everybody gets it. And I've got a bit of new material this evening. It could go either way. It could be awful, it could be great. I don't know, we'll see. It won't be to everyone's taste. And if it isn't to your taste, then, you know, I'm cool with that, that's fine. Go home, put it in your blog. If you're still angry, start eating meat and dairy and you'll be fine again. Now, as I say, I'm pretty comfy with no laughs, because, well, I've got to be. And a while ago, in Brighton, I did a show like this, and I said the word pikey, and I had no idea that that had become like a forbidden word. And the temperature in the room sort of dropped. There was a lot of pullback. It was kind of weird feeling, super awkward. And I'm going to be honest, I got a bit turned on by that. Nothing downstairs, but a little bit of Nick. So I was quite happy with that. So if awkward happens, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm onto a winner either way. And it's weird because I didn't expect the word pikey to be a bad word. Because it's short for turnpike, and it just means traveller, person who lives on the road. Now, I live in a van. So just like when Ice-T drops the N-bomb 30 times in a song, or if Ed Sheeran calls someone a smug ginger cunt, I should be allowed to say the word pikey with impunity. Now, as I say, I live in a van, and it's kind of cool, but there are some bits of it that are a bit grim. It's not all kind of sitting in thunderstorms with a mug of cocoa listening to it beating on the roof. There is some pretty awful basic stuff you have to do as well. One of those things is that I have to empty my own toilet. So basically, once a week, I have to get this box of stale piss out of the back of my van, stagger across a farmyard with it, and empty it into a cesspit. I know it sounds pretty glamorous, doesn't it? Now, I should do that once a week, but I'm a terrible procrastinator, I'm incredibly lazy, and I get quite involved with other stuff like the PlayStation. So, I don't always empty it once a week. And what I've done now is I've got a little test that I use, just a little test, to see whether it's time to empty the toilet or not. And the test is, can I wank through the smell? And if the answer is, yes I can, we're good. If it becomes, no I can't, got to empty that toilet. But something weird's happened, and that's now become a thing. And I kind of have to have the smell now. I'm a little bit worried that in a few years, the only way I'm going to really be able to achieve sexual satisfaction is on a pile of old sheets in an old people's home on laundry day. Another awful, grim thing about living in a van is in the winter, it gets a bit cold and damp sometimes. And something happened to me last year that I think illustrates this pretty well. I sort of popped awake one night about 3 in the morning, like, ooh. And I could tell I had a bit of a semi. I could just sort of feel a bit of the weight of it resting there. Not a lot of weight, just a little bit. And I'm 45. So anything down there is not to be wasted. So, you know, this rarely happens. Mostly this, sometimes a bit of that. This was a bit of that. So I thought, sweet, I'll have a wank, that'll send me off to sleep. Winner. So I reached under the sheets for a bit of a rummage and I found it. And it felt a bit kind of unresponsive and a little bit sticky and wet. And I was like, this is weird. I haven't had a wet dream for like 30 years. Have I regressed? Is that what's happened here? And so I had a little bit more of a go at it and still nothing. Not even if anything, it was getting like wetter and horribler and still just sort of semi-limp. So I thought, right, I've got to examine this. So I put the light on and I rolled the sheets back. And I don't know whether I was horrified or relieved to see a large brown slug that was keeping warm in the nest of my pubes that I had just wanked to death. Now, one of my favourite things in life is when you get a group of people, someone in that group of people will say the following phrase: I'm not racist, but, and then they'll have a little bit of a look around just to check that there's no one who's a representative of the group of people that they're about to speak on. And then they'll say something that's probably racist, but almost definitely nationalistic. And racism's all well and good, but I can't really get behind it, you know? And here's why. When I spoke at the beginning, giant ball of rock hurtling through space, we all live on it. We're the human race, we're all the same, we're all one. Now, the way I see that racism happens is that some of the people on that ball of rock live where it's hot and sunny, and some people don't. And the people that don't are jealous of the people that do, and they take it out on them in other ways. And that's pretty much the deal. Now, nationalism, you can get behind that, because that's kind of man-made borders, and what we're dealing with there is basically a bit of banter and a bit of piss-taking about countries that are different to, and by different I mean not as good as, the one that we live in. Sometimes it's genocide, but mainly it's just piss-taking and banter. Now, I'm not racist. You can say what you like about the Germans. If anyone else had done the Holocaust, it would have been rubbish. Say the French had done it, they'd still be doing it now. It's like, you can't be having a 3.5-hour lunch break, 30-hour working week, half a bottle of Bordeaux every lunchtime when you've got to murder and hide the remains of 6.5 million people. That requires effort, it requires passion, it requires a work ethic, it requires management structure, loads of stuff like that. It's a bloody impressive thing. And it got me thinking about it a little bit. If you think about your average serial killer, so your average murderist, they usually get about 5 people done before they get rumbled. Yeah? And I would say that arguably our best serial killer, Harold Shipman, in terms of numbers, he's got strong numbers, 215. That's good work. Shipman was a doctor, so intelligent, organised, good work ethic, only managed 215. So how the fuck 6.5 million people over 6 years and no one noticed? I find that hard to believe. And I'm sure that the people at the top, the politicians, the world leaders, I'm sure they all knew it was going on. They must have done. There's no way they couldn't have done. And I can't help but feeling that anyone who went on a stag do to Poland during that time must have known something was up. You know, if you get there and it's like, lads on tour, t-shirts, it fucking works. Where is everybody? We were told there were loads of fit birds here. There's a few, but they're right skinny. And so, I can imagine that they'd probably go up to that man in the nice, well-pressed, recently dry-cleaned uniform over there and say, "Oi mate, where the fuck is everybody?" No, I'm not going to do the accent because that would be insensitive and probably xenophobic. So, where is everybody? And he's going to go, "We are playing hide and seek with the Poles and they're very good at it. Klaus here has looked everywhere. He's even looked in the oven and there was only ash." They are incredible. They have even beaten Dutch national champion 1942 to 1944 Anne Frank. We found her. But where are my manners? Where are my manners? You chaps must have had a terrible time getting here. Why not have a nice hot shower? And those that didn't have the shower, they all came back with a matching tattoo. And with that horrible moment of awkwardness, I've been Andy. Cheers.